What's up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. This is my first look cash build, my first look plays for week 16 of the NFL. And as always, going to be giving my first look cash build here, just some plays that really stick out from a first look perspective. Not going to go into every single play, but I am going to be posting my final look video sometime on Saturday, giving my final plays and all that good stuff. And just from a first look perspective alone, and there's so much value that's on this slate. And yeah, can't wait to break it down. So before we get started, if you can leave a like, subscribe if you have not yet, would appreciate that a ton. Trying to get 10,000 subscribers in the near future. And yeah, so let's get to it, starting with the quarterbacks. And in cash, I think this is a pretty easy option for me. I know I love Mahomes in tournaments. I know I love Baker Mayfield and Goff and even Trubisky in tournaments. But I think for cash, and I think he's tournament viable as well, I like Jalen Hurts a lot here at 7,000 versus Dallas, and he's been absolutely killing it as of late. And he does have a big price jump here, going from 5,900 last week against Arizona and 5,100 in week 14 against New Orleans to 7,000 here, and it's definitely warranted. And in this game, he has a 49.5 point game total, where the Eagles are going to be 2-point favorites. And in the last two starts, 64 DraftKings points combined. He has tons of rushing yard upside, 29 rushing attempts in his first two starts as well. Just a really solid matchup against this Dallas defense. I know Dallas defense was really, really bad at the beginning of the year. They have gotten a lot better, but still, I do think he can have a lot of success here, just, having the ability to run the ball. So 7,000, I like it in cash. Has some tournament upside as well, but this is mostly a cash play for me, especially at that price. But we saw it last week, and go out there and destroy a slate, scoring 40.8 DraftKings points. So Jalen Hurts, I am plugging him into this first look cash build. Getting into running backs here, lots of good options I like up top. I think Eckler's fine. I think Jonathan Taylor's even fine. Nick Chubb I like a lot for tournaments. For cash, believe it or not, David Montgomery at 7,700. I thought I'd never in a million years be playing David Montgomery at this price. But in this game against Jacksonville, really good matchup, 47.5 point game total, where the Bears are going to be 7.5 point favorites, which I really like that for Montgomery. And yeah, the last month has been absolutely insane for Montgomery. Games of 32, 27, 27, and 28 in his last four games. It's unbelievable. He had 33 total touches last week against the Vikings, 32 rushing attempts, and 1 reception on 2 targets, and he has been able to catch the ball as well. So I can't believe I'm doing this. I can't believe I'm plugging him in. But, man, David Montgomery, we can't ignore how good he's been. And I know a big price jump going from 7,000 to 7,700. And you've seen like a slight incline in the past couple of weeks of his price going up and up and up and up. 5,500 against Detroit in week 13. Now we're sitting at 7,700. But it's really hard to ignore what he's been doing. And it's really hard to ignore the really good matchup against the Jaguars here. The Jaguars have given up the third most DraftKings points to opposing running backs. And, yeah, I'm going with David Montgomery here at 7,700. So going down a little bit, there's a play that, really sticks out a ton from a first look perspective with some news that's come out, and it's going to be Le'Veon Bell here, 5,800. This has to be one of the chalkiest running back plays on the slate, and for an absolute good reason. So Le'Veon Bell going against Atlanta here. You got the 54-point game total, where the Chiefs are going to be 10.5 point favorites. And Bell is averaging 7 points, DraftKings points per week. But the big thing here is Clyde Edwards-Helaire is doubtful. Not expected to play, giving Bell a huge opportunity here against a poor Atlanta defense. And definitely a potential shootout here that could lead to some touchdowns for Bell. It is the highest total on the slate. And I like that the Chiefs being big favorites, it could lead to more Bell carries if they do get out of front. So really like Bell. I'm assuming a lot of people are going to like Bell as well. And he's probably like a must-play for cash. 5,800 on one of the best, if not the best offenses in the league in the Kansas City Chiefs. And I do think there is some scoring opportunities as well. So last week, Edwards-Helaire did play some of that game, but he ended up having a 15 rushing attempts, 62 yards, and a touchdown, scoring 14.6 DraftKings points. But since Clyde Edwards-Helaire is going to be out, I think he's going to get hopefully 20 touches. That'd be sweet. That's all I'm asking for, is like 20 touches total. So give me Le'Veon Bell, easily putting him in here into the first look build. So we'll go to wide receivers, and then we'll come back to the flex spot in a bit. So wide receivers, up top, you have Metcalf, Ridley. Sucks that Ridley's like 8,500 now. TYREEK Hill, 9,000 versus Atlanta. I'm probably going to go here, at least in a lot of tournaments. I'm debating on putting him in cash, but from a first look perspective, it's really hard to ignore the matchup and just how good Hill's been. And in this game, it is the highest total on the game with the 54-point game total, where the Chiefs are going to be 10.5 point favorites. And Hill is averaging 23.4 DraftKings points per game, and he has 17 touchdowns on the year and over 1,200 receiving yards. He's been fantastic, especially lately. And you get a dream matchup here against this poor Atlanta Falcons defense. I mean, the Falcons are dead last in DraftKings points given up to opposing wide receivers. I expect Hill to absolutely go off. I know he's questionable, but I'm assuming they're just kind of being, cautious with it. I think he'll be able to play. If not, it'll open up other things, but I'm assuming he's going to play here. And multiple touchdown upside and what's projected to be the highest total on the slate. So I really, really, really do like Tyreek Hill at 9,000. I know it's expensive, but the upside that this guy brings is crazy. And then you get like a dream match. I mean, we see it down there against Tampa Bay, 60.9 DraftKings points. And I know I'm not expecting that, but I can expect like a 2 to maybe 3 touchdown performance, over 100 yards for sure. And I like it a lot. So give me Tyreek Hill in cash here. Going down a little bit, and we have down. T. Higgins is interesting here. So T. Higgins, 4,700 versus Houston. You got the 45.5 point game total where the Bengals are 8.5 point underdogs, which I do like that for Higgins here. And Tyler Boyd is questionable with a concussion. If Tyler Boyd does play, I'll probably lose interest for Higgins here. If Tyler Boyd is indeed out, I do think that Higgins is going to be in line for some more targets here. And even with Boyd playing, Higgins is averaging 8 targets in his last 7 games. Very good matchup against this Houston defense, and should be coming from behind, leading to more passing for the Bengals as well. And just seems way too cheap in general at 4,700. And like I said, if Boyd doesn't play, I mean, it seems even more too cheap for Higgins at that price. So going to plug Higgins in there. I think it's fine. I think he's going to get some decent usage, especially if Boyd's out. And then finally, another play that really stuck out to me is going to be Jamison Crowder at 4,500 versus Cleveland. You got the 47-point game total where the Jets are going to be 9.5 point underdogs. And Crowder's averaging 14.5 DraftKings points per week, and he started off the year hot, but has cooled down as of late. But he has battled injuries throughout the year as well, and it seems way too cheap for Crowder with the volume that he gets, and it should be a very good matchup against this really poor Browns passing defense, and also they should be coming from behind, leading to more passing attempts as well, and just possible garbage time upside for Crowder if the Jets get too far behind, which I have a feeling they probably do. So I think Crowder at 4,500 is an absolute steal there. So give me Jamison Crowder at wide receiver. All right, and then getting down into going back to the flex spot, and somebody that really sticks out to me from a first look perspective is going to be, I'm typing him in here. So Darrell Henderson, 4,500 versus Seattle. You got the 47.5 point game total where the Rams are 1.5 point underdogs, and he's averaging 9.1 DraftKings points per week. But the big thing here is Cam Akers is out, giving Henderson a lot of opportunity here at 4,500, and should see an increase in touches with Brown out. Solid matchup against the Seahawks defense, and could be a nice pivot off this Rams chalky pass game. I think the Rams are going to gain a lot of ownership in the pass game with the wide receivers, Kupp and Goff. So I think Henderson at 4,500, I don't think he's going to be overly high owned. I think he has a lot of upside here. I guess people are going to be really concerned about Malcolm Brown stealing snaps, and he very well could, but 4,500 is just way too cheap for what is projected to be the starter here in Darrell Henderson. All right, and then going to the tight end here, we're going to go down, and obviously if you can get Travis Kelce, I mean, it's way too expensive, but if you can get him, I think he's a fantastic play. I like Logan Thomas a lot. But going down, I think Dallas Goedert is still a really good play. I know Ertz is back and been getting some snaps and getting some targets, but Dallas Goedert, 3,600 versus Dallas. You got the 49.5 point game total, where the Eagles are 2-point favorites. And Goddard is averaging 11.3 DraftKings points per week. And like I said, Ertz has returned, but he's still getting some decent targets as of late. We can take a look at him here. 8 targets last week, 6 in week 14, 7 in week 13, 10 in week 12. And solid matchup against this Cowboys defense. It just seems way too cheap overall at 3,600. And I don't mind a Goddard and Hurts stack whatsoever this week, especially in cash. I think it's fine. Just with the prices of both guys. So give me Dallas Goedert there. And then finally, we are left with 3,200. And the Colts defense against the Steelers. I think that's fine. Or the Texans versus the Bengals could be fine. We'll go Texans versus the Bengals there. So we're left with Jalen Hurts at quarterback. I like that a lot in cash just due to his rushing yard upside. Hopefully 10 plus rushing attempts. David Montgomery, 7,700, way too I mean, expensive, but he's just been on fire lately. It's really hard to ignore that, and the matchup against Jacksonville. Le'Veon Bell, probably the best play on the slate from a value perspective. I think there's lots of upside. TYREEK Hill, probably one of the highest, if not the highest ceiling on the slate. T. Higgins, if Boyd is out, I like that Higgins call a lot. Jamison Crowder, way too cheap against the Browns passing defense. That's not all that great. Dallas Goedert, way too cheap here, still getting some decent volume even with Ertz back. And then Henderson, Akers is out, giving him more opportunity there at 4,500, and then the Texans defense. So that's about it, guys. And make sure you check out my other content. Going to be putting out a Saturday slate video. And yeah, so that's about it, and good luck.